affected and impacted. But even in that situation, those families still have to either go to work or figure out how to pay their bills and how to survive. And I think it's just all about perspective. And so yeah, so that's good. But thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem.
It suddenly got quiet.
We have a few more people. We have Fernanda, Cristina.
Yeah, I can only see so many people.
We have Tika, Eli.
That's a big logo you have there, Carmen.
It's her halo. It's her halo.
It's the GRGC. Come on now.
So I saw that we had like 60 people sign up.
Mm-hmm.
And then how many are on right now?
So we're waiting for everybody to log on.
Oh, I was having trouble with my computer, so I end up logging on with my phone. So next time I'll be more prepared.
We're glad you could join us, Jeremy.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Christina, where are you? How are you surviving COVID? Christina.
I think everybody's just like getting ready. Everybody has their notepad, their laptop, or annotations.
5 o'clock. Zach in. Where are you at, Zach in? Tika. Everybody's muted, no videos. Fernanda Ortega.
Hi, this is Tika.
Hi, Tika. How are you?
Good. I'm driving right now. I'm actually trying to get to a good place that I can pull over, so I don't have the video on at the moment, but I am here and present.
How are you surviving COVID?
So far, so good. Of course, I definitely agree with how sad it is with all of the deaths. My mom and my dad are actually nurse practitioners, so they are in and out of the nursing homes, so they're seeing how bad it is too. And then just watching the news, of course. And there, I have had a few close people who have caught it, and thank God survived it. But so far, just being home and just getting used to. I have a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old, so just getting used to the whole virtual school with them, and husband being home and everyone just being home. We have a pretty big family, so with everything going on, there was about 3 additional people that moved in with us, like my husband's mom and brothers, sisters. So it's just everyone in one household. So we're just kind of getting used to being in each other's faces. But all in all, just happy that we are alive and well and just trying to learn as much as we can while we do have the spare time before we have to go back into the whole working field again. So
absolutely, yeah. Sometimes your car is like the safest place or quietest place in the whole house, right?
Oh yeah, I find reasons to leave the house, hence why I'm on the street now. I'm like, oh, you need an apple? Yeah, I'm going to the store to get that apple.
Very good. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, where do we have Zach in? Zach, are you still there? Or Zakin? Is it Zakin or Zakin? Am I saying it right? Who's on iPhone? Eli. Eli, check in.
Zach's also trying to, I think, work out his mic, but he is in chat and he says, I'm here.
I'm here. All right. Okay. All right. Who's iPhone? Little blue iPhone logo. Who's that? Say hi. Hi, iPhone.
What?
All right. Who am I missing? All right. Fernanda. Have you checked in with us? Have we heard from you yet? Oh, gone. You disappeared.
She's unmuting right now.
Oh, how are you doing, Fernanda? DJ Sal.
Yes, ma'am.
Hook us up, man.
What kind of genre do you like? So I can turn it out.
Something fun and engaging.
He's gonna play the Cafecito morning song.
Can you
That might work
enlighten us with
too.
some music then?
Christina says she's
Mariposa, Guantanamera.
Come on in.
Hey, I used to live in New York, and they used to play that at the subway like all the time. I've learned pretty much most of the words. So, yeah.
So Christina says that she's here, but she's in a meeting, so she'll
Oh,
hop
okay.
on again.
All right. All right.
I
All
love
right.
New York.
Oh, you love New York?
Yes, I lived there for a month.
Oh, lived there for a month, and
Yeah,
you go back.
I want to go back. I want to apply for grad schools there.
Okay. Good. 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 Okay. iPhone. What's your name? Because I don't see your name. I just see that you have an iPhone.
iPhone just sent a message that they're here, and then Eli is also here.
Okay. All right. Very good. 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 All right. So New York. So what school? What do you want to study in school?
So, so I got my bachelor's in sociology, but I'm really interested in business, and
Okay.
I've recently done a lot of research for MBA programs.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in New York, I actually did a research program at NYU. So
Okay.
that's how I kind of got to learn more about their programs.
Mhm.
So I'm interested in applying for MBA programs.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, good for you. Good for you. Yeah. Well, you know, in MBA, it's all. I mean, it's all sociology in so many ways because business is about understanding people and trying to find solutions for problems. And those that do it well, there's financial rewards for that, and plus, obviously the emotional fulfillment that we find. So yeah. So that's good. That's good. All right, Carmen and Elisa. I don't know if you guys want to wait for more people. If you guys want to continue, just kind of doing our little networking. You guys make the call. It's about 5:07.
Let's give everybody like 5 more minutes. Just
Okay.
'cause it's their first class, and I know that maybe some people are driving home from work or trying to get to a computer. Let's give
Yeah, no
them 5
problem.
minutes. But what we can do, Catherine, is maybe just have everybody introduce themselves in the intro.
Sounds like a plan to me. All right. Well, I'm Catherine Francis, and I'm the facilitator. So that's me. The question that we have on the table is, what's your favorite ice cream? And I'm going to do that because we have approximately 60 people signed up. So I'm sorry, I know I'm going a little out of order, but if we get you guys in, then the other 40 people that sign on later will fall right into the slide presentation. All right. Next, Mr. Sal Ayala.
So my name is Sal. I'm a board of director with the GRHCC. I own a marketing firm. We specialize in digital marketing, and I'm super excited to be part of the committee here with Business Without Boundaries. I was going to say Emprendedores, Business Without Boundaries. Welcome, everybody.
And your favorite ice cream is?
My favorite ice cream is butter pecan.
Butter pecan. Mine is pecan pralines. Very good. Very good. Memo.
Hi, everyone. My name is Guillermo. I'm with Unico, with Tal. My favorite ice cream, I think, would be Oreo.
Oreo. Okay. All right. All right. Bateda.
Hello, everyone. My name is Betsada, but everyone usually just calls me Bets. You know,
Bets,
little...
girl, I'm betting on you. That's it.
Yeah, that's always the joke. Yeah, so they call me Bets. I graduated actually from UCLA last year with a bachelor's in sociology.
She's smart too, guys. Look at her.
Thank you. And then, so now I'm currently working full-time at a private trade school. I do a lot of admissions work, but like I said, I've kind of been really interested in business and kind of learning more about business. Looking into MBA programs, and my favorite ice cream is cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream. All right, Jeremy.
Hello, my name is Jeremy. I'm also on the board. I'm the co-treasurer on the board, and also owner of Plan B Advertising. It's a printing company. And my favorite ice cream is the chocolate chip.
Chocolate chip. I like that co-treasurer. See, that's what the GRACC does well, make everybody accountable, right? Most people only have one treasurer. They're like, no, we're going to have two. That's it. That's it. Good job. All right. Carmen.
Hi, everybody. My name is Carmen Linus. I'm the current chair of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'm also an attorney. I've been practicing for 10 years. I do immigration, family, criminal, and corporate. And my favorite ice cream is dulce de leche.
Oh, that one's good too. With some caramel. Oh, girl. Yeah, yes. That's it. That's it. All right. Joe.
Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Joe Ramos. I'm the executive director here with the Chamber. And I know I'm surprised nobody said it yet, but my favorite ice cream is actually just plain vanilla.
Plain vanilla. That's how my sister is. You know, kind of just plain. It's like, girl, spice it up.
If I'm getting crazy, it's orange sherbet, but normally it's just plain vanilla.
Oh, I like that. Now, what about the sherbet and the vanilla mix?
Yeah.
You like that one?
Definitely. That
one's the best. That one's the best. All right. Yvonne.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Yvonne Nunez.
Hi, can you talk a little louder?
Yes, I graduated from UCR on May 2020 with a linguistics and Spanish degree. And I'm currently with Monarch Community Partners LLC. And yeah, I'm planning to take a translating program as well at UCR Extension Center. So it's nice to meet you.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you. And did you tell us your favorite ice cream?
Oh, natural strawberry.
Natural strawberry. That's what she said. Natural strawberry. Not just strawberry, natural strawberry.
Yeah.
I love that. So we're going to have to share our garden with you. Matter of fact, I'm going to go get my big old cucumber squash and share that with you. Maybe Alyssa will show us a picture of her garden. We can make some natural foods with that. So what else we have here? Eli.
Hello.
You here with us? So tell us your name and your favorite ice cream.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm vice chair for Greater Rosetta Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'm excited about this program. Here to welcome everybody and to see this program off. My business is involved with municipalities, cities, and school districts and the like, and we do energy and technology for them.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. Miss Alondra.
Oh, yeah. Favorite kind of ice cream, Eli.
Oh, yes. Favorite ice cream, Eli.
Sorry, I had to unmute. Vanilla almond.
Vanilla almond. Okay. All right. Very good. Alondra Vasquez.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alondra. I'm studying at UCR. I'm studying mathematics. I'm going into my 4th year. I'm also with the Monarch Community Partners LLC. And my favorite ice cream is Cherry Garcia from Ben & Jerry's.
All right. Cherry Garcia. That's good. That's good. All right. Fernanda.
Hello, I'm also a UCR student. I'm a 2nd year in the pre-business program. Hopefully, God willing, later this school year, I will be applying to the School of Business at UCR. My favorite ice cream flavor is mint chocolate chip.
Okay, cool. That's my son's favorite. All right, and iPhone. Oh, iPhone. You here with us?
Catherine, we have Christina Galaxino. She says her name is Christina Zacarias. She's a woman-owned business, and she's the CEO of Zacarias Landscaping LLC in California. Also works as a translator for Fire DOJ for the EOIR with immigration. Speaking Punjabi. My favorite ice cream is rainbow sherbet.
Oh, I like that one too. All right, very good. Thank you so much. Good, Jeremy. Tika?
Hi, my name is Natika Petit-Frere. I am an HR manager currently, but I have opened up a business called Royalty Hair and Beauty, and my plans are to open up a beauty supply store within the Inland Empire.
Okay.
My favorite ice cream is cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream. All right, I think we have 2 cookies and cream in the house. All right. And then Zach N.
Oh, perfect. Zach just dropped in chat. Hi, my name's Zachary. I'm a college student studying computer science, and I hope to start my own tech center after school. And his favorite ice cream is Rocky Road.
Rocky Road. Okay. All right. Very good. All right. Did I miss anyone?
Let's see.
Yeah, hang on, yeah.
Isaiah. Yeah, I think I called you. Go ahead. Tell us.
Sorry. My name is Isai Mateo. I'm currently a student at UCR. I study electrical engineering. And my favorite ice cream flavor is mint chocolate chip.
Okay. All right. So we have
What do you want to do for electrical engineer when you graduate?
What was that?
What would you like to do with your degree after you graduate?
Well, I want to get first, I guess, a job somewhere working for a company, but eventually I do want to start my own business.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What type of business?
I'm hoping to create a startup in electric vehicles.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Gonna compete with Tesla.
Yeah.
Good. It's always good to dream big. I believe in you. You're at the right place.
And I think Morellis, he was on a business call.
Right.
He's still done with that, so we can just have him introduce himself in the chat afterwards.
Okay.
And then I think other than that, we can start the presentation.
Sounds good. I'm gonna turn it over to the amazing team at the Greater Riverside Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Unico. This is where we all do our applause. Yay!
All right. I am going to go ahead and share our little PowerPoint here. So give me 1 second, everybody. There we go. This is your big moment, Carmen.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Good afternoon. My name is Carmen Linus. Like I said before, I'm the current chair of the Greater Riverside Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And I'm very excited about this program. I'm very excited that you're here as part of our kickoff. This is going to be, and I'm sorry about the background noise, guys, but this is going to be the first class of 10 classes that are going to happen every Wednesday at the same time. And during these courses, you're going to get so much more than just your usual workshop. You're going to be able to, whether you are an entrepreneur, thinking about starting a business, have been in business for years, you're going to get so many resources, especially during the times that we're in. Right now, we're in COVID. A lot of business owners are experiencing that they may not have ever before experienced. And we are here to help you. We're here for our community. The Hispanic Chamber of Commerce started over 40 years ago, and it's only possible, and sorry guys, if everybody can mute themselves. I'm just gonna have everybody just mute yourselves. Awesome, perfect. So the Greater Riverside Hispanic Chamber of Commerce has been around for over 40 years, and the reason this chamber was started was to help our Latino community, our small business owners, to make sure that our entrepreneurs of the future, our students, are able to fulfill all their dreams, but also be able to provide the resources that sometimes aren't readily available. This program is one of the great programs that we do have. Like I said, you don't have to be a business owner, but it's going to give you the tools and resources to know what you want or what you need to have as your fundamental cement in order to have a successful business. Just a few housekeeping rules. There is going to be a survey at the end of the class. So in order to get your 10-week certification from our chamber, you will have to attend all 10 weeks. At the end, the survey will be done by Elisa and Joe, our executive director. If for some reason we know things happen and we know it's later in the evening, as long as it's not something that's constantly being done, we know that if you can't be towards the end or until the end, just email us at info@grhcc.com and I will make sure I put that in the chat box in a second. If you have any questions, please make sure if you look in the bottom of your screen and you scroll over your mouse, you're going to see a chat box. Please make sure you put all your questions in the chat box. Now, that doesn't mean that our instructor will get to it right at the moment. However, at the end, we will have time for discussion throughout. Our team has done an amazing job to make it interactive. So you will have time to talk to us individually, to other people here individually. Make sure that you're muting your camera unless you're called upon. That way we don't get anybody's background noise. I know right now I'm working from home currently and I have my dog. So for example, we don't want all those background noises. But we're really excited to kick this off and so excited that you are here for our kickoff of Business Without Boundaries. And before I turn it over, I'm going to thank our sponsors. I want to thank Southern California Edison for providing the EDGE programs. Our instructor today, Catherine, is from Southern California Edison. She's amazing, and I'm excited to hear her presentation. I want to thank JP Morgan. And I want to thank the Unico team. Unico team, although Sal is part of our board, they have gone above and beyond to help us during COVID to put this on together, to make this something that's interactive, something that we can still feel like we're in a classroom, like in a workshop, but at the same time, it's not, right? But we can see each other, and hopefully once COVID is over and we're out and about and networking, we'll recognize each other's faces and be like, hey, I remember you from our workshop. So that's what we're hoping. We hope that you enjoy this, and it's not too late to let other people know to be a part of this business training program. Even if they don't get to be part of the entire 10 weeks, we have so much more to offer. We are going to show you how to do a business plan, how to get your business license, what type of entity should you do. We have so many resources, and it's really, really, really going to be beneficial, like I said, to everyone. And with that, it's my pleasure to turn it over to not only our co-secretary, but our chair of the business training program, Elisa Cortez.
Hi, everyone. Yes, and it is my pleasure. Let me go ahead and advance us here. Yes, I am the co-secretary of the GRHCC as well as the chair of this program. I came into the GRHCC through this program. Eli, who is another student in the class today, recommended that I go through it, and I've learned so much just in that class, and then over the next few years kind of being a part of every class and like its different iterations. Every time I go through this program I learn something, and anytime that I have a question from someone who's like, how do I do this in a business, I'm like, oh, I learned this thing from this program I took, and I highly recommend it to everyone. So as Carmen said, like, even if you can't make this class, or if you have people that you're like, wow, this would be super beneficial for my friend who wanted to start a business, I think it's a great place to start. And we're going to have so many different classes that you're going to love. But especially, I think that we all especially love Catherine, who I've had the pleasure of watching many times give this presentation. Each time it's different, it's impactful, and has taught me something. And so I'd like to introduce Catherine Francis. She is a highly sought after speaker, trainer, and author who taught college for many years in warehouse management and construction trades. And all of that experience definitely shows in the way that she carries herself and the information that she has. She has over 25 years of that experience working with multi-million-dollar nonprofits such as Girl Scouts and facilitating trainings for Fortune 100 and 500 companies, including Coca-Cola. And she holds firm to the belief that there is a solution for every situation, and with God, all things are possible. And so I'm so happy and proud and excited for us to get started with this program. Francis, I turn it over to you. Oh, you're muted. All good. Let me see.
And while she's unmuting, guys, just a reminder, because this is an interactive workshop, don't be shy. Please make sure you turn on your camera so we can see your beautiful faces. Catherine's working out the mute button right now, but please make sure. We want to see all of your faces. We want to interact with you. For those of you that are driving or at a meeting, we understand. As soon as you get to a place where you can, please make sure to turn on your cameras.
Oh, hang on just a second. That's okay. While Catherine's figuring out unmute. Oh, you had it for a second. I do have more things that I can read about her. Catherine has a heart for underserved communities and consistently works on strategies that focus on eradicating poverty. Oh, there we go. You're on.
Yeah, I don't want you to read that whole thing. I was like,
she's like, no. I figured it would inspire you to find it.
Absolutely,
I'll turn it over to you.
Yes. Well, thank you again. That I love working with the Greater Riverside Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I remember when they first started and were talking about the Business Beyond Boundaries. I was doing some other work with some of their partner chambers, and then they did this big old chamber event where, like, you know, every chamber, and I think the Inland Empire signed some paper, and so they've always led the way in innovation and efficiency and collaboration, and I so enjoy that about working with the group. And of course, the group and team at Unico have been amazing and awesome and very patient. And so I so appreciate that. But I also appreciate you all taking the time to come and participate. This is a great workshop. You will learn so much. You know, I've been doing this particular workshop for several years now, and just the feedback and interaction. You know, the fascinating thing about Lean is that we're in a very, very interesting time and season. And so because of that, people are having to be what the word is called lean, more efficient, more effective, even though that may not have been their initial goal. Crisis oftentimes leads us to places where we have to reevaluate what our priorities are. And this, as we were doing in our networking chat and just kind of getting a feel for where everyone was at with COVID, you know, we certainly, our hearts go out to the victims that have lost family members and those who are suffering and have suffered because of COVID. You know, the challenging thing about COVID is that everyone has been impacted so differently. Some businesses are thriving and growing, and amidst all of the loss and devastation and also of some of the chaos, their bank accounts are getting filled. They're working more hours than they've seen in years. And so it's affecting people in that way. On the reverse side, there are other businesses, and you know, we keep using words like pivot and things like that. But if you're a Mack truck, it's a lot more difficult for you to pivot than if you know, you're a little sports car. I have a little Audi, and so it's real easy to kind of turn that little baby around. And so one of the things with Lean in this workshop is I tell people I take volunteers and I take hostages, but Lean is about you. I can't tell you about your specific business, but I can tell you about business in general. And so a lot of this workshop is extremely interactive, probably more so than what you might be accustomed to. But that's why we definitely want your cameras on. We want you to be participating. There's poll questions, there's breakout rooms, and we want to get to the heart of your business so that we can make sure that we're contributing either information or resources to help your business stay afloat. And so we're going to talk about Lean for small businesses. And Lean is a way for businesses to be effective and efficient, looking at areas that we may have waste. And waste could come from time or money or resources. And a lot of times, again, when you're in tough seasons and crisis seasons, we start to see that waste a little bit differently. And so we're going to talk a lot about those kind of things. So, so thank you. Next slide. So we did the introductions, just trying to have people come in. Do we want to still additional roll call, or do you want to move forward?
We can move forward, Captain.
I think we have everybody that has joined in so far, and everybody's introduced themselves. But Maybe later on, as people join in, we'll have them introduce themselves through the chat box.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. All right, next slide. So we've done our system setup, we've done our login. Just do please remember to fill out the survey. This is one of the requirements for GRHC to get additional sponsorship and funding. So they want to know people are engaging and participating in this. So please remember to do that. We should be wrapping it up around 7:45 to 8 p.m. I know it seems like a long time, but I promise not to bore you to death. Again, a lot of this is about you. So part of the goals of this workshop is to improve your understanding of cost management. And certainly in a time, whether you're flourishing financially or if you're struggling financially, cost management is always an important part of business. In a season like this, even if you're flourishing, you're looking at more efficient ways to do things. If you're struggling, then a lot of times that management becomes inevitable. It's a natural byproduct of trying to navigate expenses and costs while you're still keeping your business afloat. There are still many opportunities for businesses and sustainability. What I do tell people, again, in spite of the tragedy of all the losses of COVID, after every economic downturn, if you ever did the research from the Great Depression to the more recent economic recession in 2007, 2008, and 2009, that there are more millionaires made. And so the goal of, every training I do is to help people figure out what do they need to do to become a millionaire. And I don't say it arrogantly or like, but the reality of it is it's going to happen. So why not you? If you face loss, if you struggle, suffering, why shouldn't you be the one that after this economic downturn, after this tragedy, can turn your business around and come up with some innovative idea that pushes you over to the extreme prosperity level? So just think about that. Every opportunity, every loss, there's another side of that loss, which is an opportunity for something to grow. So this is what we want to have discussions about, and as we go throughout the evening. Lean 5S training strategies are ways that you can recognize and minimize different things that go on with our team. So sometimes it's a lot more than that, but sometimes, again, there's waste in our organization. Sometimes people are stuck on doing things a specific way, and there's better ways to do it. Just think about this whole social distancing concept, right? We're literally telling people, you got to get up and go to work. That's what we tell our kids. They got to work hard, make a living. We don't want any couch potatoes, right? And then some pandemic happens all over the world, affects everyone. And now we're all sitting on our sofas in front of our laptops trying to figure out how we're going to survive this thing. So the reality of it is recognizing that there are strategies and things that we could do. And I think Carmen mentioned earlier, there's some things that we probably could have been doing, but we hadn't been forced to utilize it. So just think that you believe for most of your life that you have to get up every day, get dressed, go into your office in order to make a living, right? And now we're telling people you can't get up every day and you can't drive into the office to make a living. You have to figure out how to make your living from home, from your kitchen table, your kitchen sink, or from your sofa, right? You have to figure out how to make a living and still homeschool your kids, right? This is what we're talking about from a place of efficiency and lean, like things that we didn't even think were possible, right? There's so many people saving money on childcare. That alone makes you want to reevaluate working from home. So, and other parents are like pulling their hair, like, oh my goodness, I have more empathy for the teachers because this is like not okay. I actually homeschooled my kids when they were younger. So I've seen both sides of it. So lean, again, is about creating strategies. And I think in this season, a lot of us have had to come up with strategies that we didn't even think were even a strategy, but it's like, this is what we got to do. I know couples where, one sleeps and the other one stays up and they try to manage and they adjust their meetings that way. 6 months ago, that was like, no, I got to go to work. I have these important things to do. And so this is kind of where we're at with that. Identifying trust factors and its effect on productivity and profits. And so again, our trust now is depending on technology. And certainly many of us, I know myself included, we have to overcome the technology challenges because this is how we're going to feed ourselves and feed our families. And if we don't, then what are we going to do about that? So again, we have to identify trust factors. And a lot of times that trust was not only people, but now we're having to trust technology in ways that we have not had to trust it before. And then one of the other learning objectives we're going to learn are problem solving and decision making. This is going to go a lot in our discussion process, and this is where you're going to talk and I'm going to kind of listen and have you kind of dissect your business, dissect the ways that you can become more successful. Next slide, please. All right, so we're going to have our first poll question. So a question is going to pop up on your screen. Just answer the question and then press submit, and then we'll get the results. No one can see that you gave whatever answer you gave. This is where we have our Jeopardy music. So good.
All right, guys, we got 8 out of 15. Come on, guys. $10 out of 15. I know there's 5 out of there. Come on, guys. Put your vote in.
I put 2 votes.
All right.
I'm on here
Yay,
twice.
Jeremy. All right, results, please. All right, so which of these strategies are you using to sustain your business due to the pandemic? Reinventing your business, retooling your business, retreat, all right, reposition, business is the same, all right, and none of the above. So, okay, very good. So those of you who are, let's see, those of you who are doing none of the above, 4 of you, what are you doing? This is where you get to unmute and talk to us.
So the reason why I chose that answer was because I kind of am in the brainstorming process, you could say, of starting a small business. So
Okay.
I guess in terms of the pandemic and everything going on, I am still trying to get more knowledge in terms of how am I going to start up? What are the resources that I need in order to make this whole thing virtual? And I think with everything going on right now, there's a new wave of small businesses that I've seen even on Instagram, which is kind of like, I feel like I've been using as my main resource. So that's why I chose that answer.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So even now, I mean, you're almost kind of reinventing your business ideals, right? I mean, the ideas you had before March came around, are they the same or are they different than what you're seeing now?
At first, I think I would say they're the same, actually, because obviously, like everything being virtual, it was going to be easier for me to kind of just, sell the product online. So it was going to be the same regardless. But I think now it's just like, I think I'm going to have to move on to more of using social media platforms to my advantage.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And I mean, if you think about online, I mean, prior to March, I mean, Amazon, of course, have cornered the market with that. But in reality, I mean, more people are buying online. I've bought so much stuff online, and it's funny because I went to Best Buy the other day. They were completely out of stuff. And I go, you can order it. So if I wanted to order, I would go back to Amazon, that kind of thing. So yeah. So, I mean, it might be that you can make more business online now because people are becoming more accustomed to that. All right. So someone who wrote that they're retooling their business, can you tell us and share with us, what does that look like for you? It doesn't tell us who said it, so you just have to just pop in, unmute yourself and chat away.
Hi.
Hey, Christina. I think you're still muted. We want to hear what you have to share. Oh, great, great.
So I basically had to go in and about a different way to find out what other tools I needed to use within our commercial and residential properties. So I used it for retooling because I want to kind of like go green instead of keep using the gas machines that we have. That way it's less pollution in the air and a lot more, I mean, I guess, because like we have the option of using the solar or going green completely and using electricity, but electricity is not considered green. So I'm trying to figure out if I can find somebody that can possibly, I mean, maybe it's a stupid idea, but put like solar panels on my lawnmowers and the edgers and whatnots, so that way we can use the actual sun to powerize our machines.
Okay, all right. Well, you know, the Greater Riverside Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, they have some excellent connections in that. So you're definitely in the right place. I'm sure someone, if you reach out to one of the team members there, they can probably direct you in the right place. And at least, and I don't think there's any stupid ideas, you know, it's just the idea of what works. I mean, ideas
Right.
are created off of what didn't work or what we see as an improvement upon it. And all you can do is try it out and share that with other people. And again, they have some great connections. I know we did a couple of events at some of the solar places. So yeah, so that's great. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Someone who wrote that they're reinventing their business. Why don't you share, what are you doing to reinvent your business? What are you doing differently now since the pandemic than you were doing several months ago? Hostages or volunteers? Come on. There's 4 people that said they were reinventing their business. Oh, okay, there we go. Oh, we're reading the text message here. And my answer, Zach. Oh, can Alyssa, can you read what's going on in the chat with him?
Of course.
I got it. There
Oh,
you go.
Okay.
You or me, Carmen?
No problem. So Catherine, Zach's answer is that my answer was business is the same. I chose this answer because I only really started my business during the pandemic. Also, I'm sorry, but this week I wasn't really prepared, so I don't have a webcam or a mic, but I'll be ready next class. And that's okay, Zach, because we understand that with these times we're doing different things, but we're glad that you're here participating. So Catherine, what do you think about the answer?
Well, actually, I'm curious. So what was it that made you start your business in the middle of a pandemic, right? I mean, I think that's cool. So tell us about what it was that went into that decision. You could type it in the chat room. I understand that you can't do that. And Carmen will read it. Time. Okay.
So, he said it was really the excess of time on my hands. So I think that right now during these times, there's a lot of business owners that have taken this time to either reinvent themselves or actually do something that they've been wanting to do for a really long time. So Zach, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what kind of business you started. And while Zach is typing his answer as to what kind of business, Eli said that he chose reinventing your business because he's getting used to Zoom and other online meeting technologies.
Okay. All right, cool. All right.
From a face-to-face meeting to going online versus where he was used to meeting his clients on one-on-one.
Okay. All right. And have you found, Eli, that to be more efficient and effective for you?
He said, sure, he has.
Okay. All right. I know Jeremy, we were talking about that earlier in our introduction network, that Jeremy was saying, you know, one of the things about Zoom and being online is that you're meeting people that you might not traditionally meet just because people are more available to get on a Zoom call and check that out. Are you finding that to be true, Eli, as well?
Yes.
Okay. And Zach, what was your business? Did you get a chance to type that up? What his business start was?
So Zach said, recently I have been making handmade cables like phone cables, adapters, etc.
Oh, cool. Well, good. Must be brilliant. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much for sharing. Oh, it's okay, Eli. We appreciate you participating and typing in the chat. Okay. So there's an example. Maybe Zach can create some wiring and help you out with that. See, we're already networking, crossing business boundaries, even that way. So it's good. There's no shortage of money, just shortage of creativity and how to get it. So thank you so much. All right, our next slide, please. All right, so we're gonna have a whiteboard discussion. And the reason it's a whiteboard discussion is because this is where you get to write on the board. So the question on the table are, what are your biggest waste in your company? And how has the current social climate made you more efficient and effective? This gets you thinking about that. So when the next slide come up, you can actually go to the top of your screen, most of you the top of your screen, and you can click down where it says view options, and you could do what they call annotate. And when you annotate, it allows you to write on the board. And so on the next slide is a whiteboard, and we just want you to type in, preferably type, because we found the writing was not as effective, or stop the typing. So just type in. So does everybody find the annotate board? If you don't, then if you haven't, Carmen will give you, or Lisa will give you a better explanation, but typically at the top of your screen should be a way that you can actually, what they call annotate, and it allows you to actually write on the screen, type on the screen your answer. So the question is, what are the biggest wastes in your company, and how has the current social climate made you more efficient and effective? So you could write the biggest waste, and then we'll talk about that. So type it in on your computer, and we'll get everybody's answers simultaneously.
And
just real quick to explain what the annotate button is.
Yeah, sorry, if you have any issues, Elisa or Sal can explain it to you. So please make sure to put in your chat box if you're having issues with that. Elisa and Sal are amazing at explaining this.
All right, I see 2 answers. Are there more answers? We have like 19 people on here. Is everybody able to write? If you're having a hard time with the annotate or knowing where that is, can you raise your hand or let someone know? Because we do want to hear from everyone. Like I said, this is everybody participating. Lean is about you looking and analyzing your own business and then letting us know, so we can discuss strategies with you to help you become successful.
I also want to say, yeah, if you want to drop it in like maybe a space where there's like a little more room as well. So I see we have it a little stacked up. We can mess with that a little bit. And then if you really can't figure it out, you can drop it in chat, and I'll go ahead and try and drop a few on here as well for you guys.
Yeah, you can change the color of your pen too. Got lots of blue. I saw somebody had something about mindset. I don't know what happened to it. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up. All right. Okay, all right. So some of the biggest waste in their company, the biggest waste is use of paper to mail products. That's interesting, yes. I guess that's maybe why the post office is getting budget cuts. More effective in terms of having more time to make more product. So the current social has made people more efficient and effective in that way. All right. Working with municipalities and having to make it difficult to expedite decision making. All right. Biggest waste is relying on FedEx and UPS for deliveries. Yeah, but it's a blessing and a curse, man, because without those people, I mean, the pandemic would be so much worse if you couldn't check out for the Amazon, FedEx, UPS guys. That they're just like, yay, you know. Yes, marketing via paper, radio, etc. Versus electronically. So a lot of people are having to use social media differently. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yes, paper and time, anxiety. All right. Fabric and paper waste, not having enough resources, networking with more people that have the same mindset. So yes, certainly not having resources is definitely a waste, because sometimes if you're waiting, you know, if you get a new client, you got to wait for the check to come, you got to wait for the check to clear. That could be a challenge. And then networking though is a benefit. All right, very good. The rate of returns on items sold. So I guess people are returning more is a big waste. And all right. The rate of return on items sold. Okay. All right. Thank you all for sharing that. So yeah, every company again is going to experience waste differently. They're going to use waste. One of the things that I did when I was doing training at Coca-Cola, they were going through a process where they were recycling and things like that, and they were able to really make a drastic impact on their carbon footprint by doing that. And so they turned a lot of waste into recyclables, and it was really amazing. So yeah, thank you. All right, excellent. Next slide. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go into breakout rooms. So this is gonna be our first of several breakout room sessions. And what we're gonna do is you're gonna share with your group a specific way the culture of your business has changed because of the global shutdown. So the culture of your business is kind of like the underlying tone of your business, things that, just how you interacted with people. What does that look like? So for me in my business, I am a speaker. That's actually what I do for a living. I don't actually do anything else. I do speaking, coaching, and training. Taught college for many years as well. And so the culture of my business has changed because I'm not on the road as much. I actually have a lot more time to engage with people. A lot of times before in my business, I would like to engage with people, but I was always either leaving, going. I covered the whole state of California in training, and sometimes in Vegas as well. And so, you know, I'll come down to Southern California because I actually lived in Bakersfield. I now live in San Diego. And I'm up here a lot. My kids and grandkids live up here, but my business has changed. The culture has changed because I'm a lot more engaging. I have a lot more time to network with people, to do business with people, to actually talk to people after we may have a meeting or encounter, where before, a lot of times I just couldn't get back to people. It just didn't work. And so that is how my business has changed. And because of that, I'm doing a lot more things with global platforms and things like that. Virtual. I do a lot of virtual retreats and virtual business development type retreats and things like that, and swag bags and so many different things that have happened. So that's how the culture of my business has changed, where before I was much more distant and engaged. And although it was great to kind of do the speaking, I didn't have as much time after those events to connect. So that's how the culture of my business has changed. And it's been great for me. It's been great. I've been able to connect a lot more with different people. So you're going to go into your breakout room sessions now. You're going to be assigned a breakout room. Just click join, and you'll have about 4 to 5 minutes to discuss with your group the question. The question will pop up on the screen, because once you leave this main session, you won't be able to see this particular slide. But look at the top of your screen, and it should be like a blue pop out that'll repeat the question to you so that you'll know what you're talking about with your group. So again, you're going to share with your group some specific ways the culture of your business has changed because of the global shutdown. Memo?
this discount card. And you can see it for the first responders.
Wow, that's awesome.
And on the back, I have all these discounts. So actually, it's giving back. It's actually for the year, the whole year, offering discounts. That's something I haven't offered before, but that's a whole new thing that I end up doing just to get my name out there, to possibly get more business, because I don't make any money off of this. It's hopefully just getting advertisement out there and people to share it. Also with the class of 2020, I did a lot of yard signs and stuff like that. So, I mean, I had to change my focus to like also restaurants that are outdoor. I was offering canopies for their outdoor dining and stuff like that. So,
yeah, that's awesome. Those are all great changes. And then Tika, do you want to go ahead and go next? And I'll come back to you, Isaiah. And then Zach and Eli, if you want to type your answers in chat.
So mine is a little bit tricky because I'm actually in the process of still researching, and I actually have a webinar coming up next week that should be able to break it down a little bit more for me. But I would say just because I apologize, what I would like to open is a beauty supply store. However, of course, with COVID, a lot of the beauty supply stores are brick and mortar, and a lot of people don't want to come out. So I'm figuring that the business is dropping just because of the lack of people that are out in the stores and actually buying the products. So this is kind of a question for me if this is something that I do want to continue to pursue. So I'm currently still doing research with this, but I would presume it's more than likely just the fact that there is not a lot of people, or not as many people, out shopping and buying beauty products, and are actually probably buying them more so online than going to the actual stores.
Yeah. And so maybe you as like a company can sit and brainstorm ways, like, how do I become someone who like my online presence is so great, they're coming to me. Because right now I know they're home. So what services can I offer? I know that we have a member here who has a spa, and one of the first things to start closing down during COVID, what she started doing was offering one-on-one like walkthroughs. She would send them the kit of the things that they would use in the store for like the facials, and she would walk them through and teach them how to use the products and stuff. And she said that actually was helping her a lot, like maintain her business during that time. So this is always a great time to kind of start inventing, and you're kind of shifting your paradigm away from I'm going to have a store to how do I attract customers in different ways. So that's good, and I appreciate you doing the research. Oh, and I think we're going back, so everyone we'll keep sharing. Don't worry. And if you want to drop yours in the chat when we get back in the room, I'll read yours off as well, and we can keep talking about it. But go ahead and hit return to main session.
All right. So how was that for everyone?
It was really good, Catherine. I can tell you. So there's some students on here that have created an LLC. It's called Monarch LLC. And they have a really, really great mission and purpose. But some of the things that they shared to me is like they're starting this and then COVID hit. So bank accounts, for example, starting your own bank account, opening up your own bank account. That has changed, and then being so separate from each other because they can't meet. You just started a corporation, you want to meet with your board members and talk about how to finance and how to do things. So that was something that they shared, and Alondra and Yvonne can tell you a little bit more about that, because what they're doing is inspirational, and I'm very proud of them. I'm proud of the entire group, but I know that this has been hard during COVID.
Absolutely. Alondra, y'all want to share what your project is and what has happened? What you're doing?
Thank you, Carmen, for the sweet words. So Yvonne and I are part of the Monarch Community Partners LLC. And basically we wanted to create something where students and recent UCR alumni would be able to get more opportunities, more entrepreneurship opportunities that they wouldn't be able to get otherwise. And the way that we wanted to do that is not only provide like educational help to kind of teach them the things that they need to know to start their own business, but also connect them with our community to be able to do that as well.
Okay. All right, great. Someone else want to share? What you guys discuss in your breakout rooms?
I'll just jump in real quick here, Catherine. In our breakout room, we actually had a really interesting discussion with one of our guests here. I'm hoping she'll jump in. She works in the mental health industry, and I think that's one industry that sometimes gets overlooked during all of this.
Yes.
And we had a discussion about how, although it's important to get as much information as you can out to the public, sometimes too much information can be overwhelming.
Yes.
And it really takes a mental toll on some people as to sorting through what applies to them, what doesn't, and what they can really do during this time. So if you could jump in and discuss that, I'd really appreciate it. Morales, you there? I think she might have signed off. Maybe if you want to go to the next one, please, Catherine. Maybe she can jump in a sec.
Okay.
I'll share about our room a bit. Jeremy was going ahead and letting us know how he had, from an advertising standpoint, worked out a way, especially because he has a personal relationship where he has, very close to a nurse. He found a way to give first responders a discount on services, that not only his services, but others from the community. And through that, something that he's not necessarily getting money back from, it is building community relations and relationships. I think that's very important. And then, and then Tika was talking about how she had to, started out with the plan to open like a brick and mortar beauty supply store, and how through, everything that's going on, it's caused her to kind of really step back and be like, is that the best step? Or how can I kind of reinvent the process to make sure it's going to be something sustainable? And I think that's, she had like the luck of not having just taken that leap and then everything going down. So it's like a great time to really brainstorm on other ideas. And then Eli was talking about how, because he works with municipalities, the shift in communication at this time, it's so different, and communication is top priority with municipalities. So he's saying that it's a lot more of an extensive follow-up that's required to, because again, it's something that like maybe in a meeting, it would only take one face-to-face meeting, but this is like a lot more preparation and more communication, and it requires him to be more flexible and really require like a more sophisticated hand to kind of make sure that the pathway to that remains open and that you get to the point that you want to go in a way that is a lot different than how it's been typically. And then Isaiah didn't get a share. Isaiah, if you want to share right here with us. Let's put you on the spot.
Well, that's good. Everybody's going to start.
So right now, I'm not really working on a business. I'm just kind of trying to learn about how to start a business. Right. So, I mean, right now I'm just like, as a student, just trying to learn a lot more.
What kind of business do you think you want to start? Or are you considering?
Well, like I said, I wanted to get into the electrical vehicle.
Oh, right.
Right. So like somewhere in the tech field.
Now, do you feel like that's changed because of COVID, or is it like now it's even more important?
I feel like now with COVID, it's kind of gone down. I feel like not as many people are interested in buying cars or vehicles. Everything is done at home.
Okay.
So that is interesting to see how things can change a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing about business. I mean, businesses are ever growing, ever changing. We call it process improvement, continuous improvement. And so the fact that businesses change is just part of the process. I think sometimes we forget that. We write out a business plan and then we just kind of go for it. And the challenge is that you have to go back and reevaluate that business plan, because sometimes things that you thought would be great ideas aren't, and things that you may not have thought were a priority might be booming. And so you have to look at those things and obviously engage. And so So it's great. And of course, with COVID and you guys, many of you being students or thinking about your business, I mean, if you haven't put all the money out yet, then, thank goodness that you can now reevaluate. And this is a time to be innovative. I think, again, in spite of the tragedies associated with COVID, it's a time to be innovative. I think there's been a huge generation gap of how technology can be used. I know even in my own children, and it's like, oh, you should, how come you don't do this? Get an iPhone. I personally, because like I said, I'm almost 50. I refuse to allow Apple to own all my technology. So I do have an iPad and a Mac, but I'm not going to I'm not going to do the iPhone. I'm going to stick with Android. So have some form of communication that Apple doesn't own. So that's just my own kind of thing. But the reality of it is I've been up here visiting my daughter, and everything is controlled. Like her TVs are all controlled by a little app on my iPad or my phone. And so I have actually been really, really enjoying having the technology. So again, it's something that prior to this, I mean, it wasn't a big deal to me. But I can control her Roku. I can control her kids' rooms. Like, this is cool. She has an electronic doorbell. She has all these things that she could see. And she's like, oh, what are you doing? Like, what? Oh, I saw you. And it's like, so, technology is important. And so I said it to say, like, just being even, because she's actually out of town for work, I came up from San Diego to help her. My daughter came down from Bakersfield. I came up from San Diego. We're helping her with watch the kids because she's out of town for work. But as you're talking about technology and what that looks like, it's changed the culture of a lot of things. And so now I'm like, well, wow, you can do all these things. And I remember going to Disneyland, and, they have that whole little animation kind of set up. And I mean, that's kind of how her place is. And so it's kind of interesting to see technology and energy and kind of what you're talking about. So there's a lot of opportunity for development and growth as people are not leaving as much. People are using technology. My generation is using technology because our kids are like, this is the way. We've been trying to tell you for, the last 10 years, and now you guys have to do it. And that's it. So I think, again, there's a lot of growth here, and the culture of how we do things is changing. And I do believe that in this season, although people are eager to go back to the new normal, for the most part, it's just like 9/11. Yes, we did go back to flying, but the way we fly now and the things that we have to endure to fly is very different than what we had to do before 9/11. I think COVID is going to be very much like that, in the sense that we have learned to become more efficient, but to go back to being inefficient and driving, 10 hours to get to work when you can call in remotely. Maybe you go in only 2 days a week, and that's just part of being efficient. I think a lot of people are going to reevaluate how they do business. So thank you so much, Eli, for sharing, and for all the groups. Are there other people that would like to share about the culture and how their business has changed because of the global shutdown?
I can share.
Okay, thanks.
So we're already a digital marketing company, and we basically, I sit on the board of a couple of other boards, and on the state board. So we're able to help other chambers, unite and really leverage the technology that we've been using for a long time. So the way it impacts me is that before, when I would send out these RingCentral meetings to have meetings, it was a lot more. There was a lot more work behind it. Now people are they kind of got trained because of it. Mm-hmm. So it actually expanded our horizons and simplified things. And it's funny, but some businesses get really affected. Some start thriving because of it, like you said earlier. Never let a good. There's a saying out there: never let a good catastrophe go to waste, or something. Right. Like that. And millionaires are born from it, right? But yeah, absolutely. What we found is that a lot more people were realizing how important it is to have an online presence, right? To make sure you're online, to make sure that you're not falling back, but changing strategies, and so those are some of the ways that it affected me. So it's again, you get lemons, you got to make lemonade, right?
Absolutely. You have all of my favorite sayings. My ultimate favorite saying is, problems cannot be solved at the same level of thinking that created them, and that's from Albert Einstein.
Absolutely.
So certainly in this season, we're having to look at solutions to problems very differently than we've had to in the past. And so I'm so grateful, and I'm grateful for forums like this, and where we can talk about it and be not only authentic about our challenges, but that you're with a group of very positive people, such as Sal and Elisa and Joe and Carmen, that can help think differently about how we do things. And so I just think that's so vitally important. Thank you so much for sharing. Next slide, please. We're going to do another whiteboard session.
And then Catherine,
Yes.
just to let you know, we have another person, and he's also a board member. He does a lot for our community, Stephen Figueroa. And Steve, I don't know if you could answer the questions that Catherine was asking right now, just with the discussion.
Well, I basically was just doing a lot of listening because I did come on late, and I feel a little bit embarrassed because I had to take care of family business. My mom passed, so.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. All right. So in our whiteboard discussion is, how have you been able to maintain quality and excellence during the current economic challenge? So we're going to go to the whiteboard. So this is where you use the annotate button so that you can actually type on it and type on the board. So I'll yeah. Is everybody able to type? So in annotate, you get to drop down. There should be a view options menu, and it should allow you to type up your responses like we did in the previous slide. Is everybody able to type? Alyssa, Carmen?
Yes.
I'm typing out directions real quick in the chat as well.
Okay.
If, something like that would help you a little bit more, or for anyone that doesn't have the mic yet.
Basically, you can just hover over the top with your mouse and click on the view options down arrow, and then you'll see annotate there. So you just hover with your mouse, move your mouse all the way to the top, and you'll get a little drop down that's green. And then next to it, you'll see an option where it says view options. You click on that little down arrow, and then you'll see the annotate option. Click on that, and then you have a little bar that comes up, and in that bar you have text, and you want to type in text or draw. So use text, and you can also change the color.
Yeah, and if it stops typing for you, typically it just means someone else is about to like post or is typing. So just keep trying until you can get yours on there. Christina, if you want, you can drop your, I think you might be mobile, so it might be a little bit different. But if you want to drop your response in the chat, I can put it up here for you.
I will do the same.
Yeah, so if you're mobile, it might be a little more difficult. So go ahead and you can type it in the chat and I'll put it on here.
And while everybody's typing, I'm just going to let you guys know a little bit about what Steve does. Steve, he's an advocate for families with children with disabilities. With the new distance learning, it seems I was one of the few knowledgeable in how to service students in the area. And so you guys know Steve is one of our amazing board members who's done a lot for our community, especially with children with disability. So thank you so much, Steve, for participating. We're very sorry for your loss, but thank you for continuing our support and for continuing to do everything that you can for our community. And that was his response.
Well, thank you. Just quickly to add to that, it's something that children with disabilities did all the time. So when it became the norm for everyone else and they were panicking, they came to advocates who knew how to do it. So it actually improved the quality of my work and even enhanced it.
We appreciate you, Steve, and thank you so much, because we know that if any parent out there, or if you have a family member or a friend that has special needs right now during the time that we're in and during COVID, it's really hard for parents just in general. So we really appreciate you.
All right, great. Thank you guys so much for participating and making these exercises engaging. Again, Lean is all about you and all about the strategies and things that'll help you grow your business. So some of the things that we've talked about or that came up are creating more solutions for clients to get work done, a teaching room, for instance, being able to dedicate more time to improving the internal processes and training, improving the quality of excellence, a lot of communication, finding new ways to use specialized knowledge, has made advocates an asset to others who are just embarking on distance learning measures, adapting and making sure clients still obtain the one-on-one experience, improving processes of listening, verifying, and validating customer expectations, communicating more with clients and sending feedback. So I think there's promote, they're kind of overlapping, but replying, communication, sending feedback via voice message, trust but verify all stakeholders at all levels simultaneously. Before it was top-down decision process, now it's more of an everybody kind of working together. I've been able to dedicate more time to improving our internal processes and training, improving the quality of excellence, Steve. Letting go of resources that weren't so useful, that's a huge one. And that's what Lean is. I mean, there's so much waste in so many different organizations. Upgrading technology, working closely with clients, more customer-centric, engaging more with clients. So an example is, even as we were preparing for this presentation, some of my, I was getting some feedback. And so just in the season, because now like the mindset is very different, it's like, okay, I got to go to Verizon and get this box and all these things like that, which came with its own challenges. But it's that thought of being customer centric. Normally when we do presentations, we kind of have a phone meeting or so, like, okay, this is what we're going to do, send a couple emails. But certainly in putting on virtual presentations and maintaining the quality of excellence that Edison likes, we have been on these calls and doing test runs and things like that. And that's what it's all about. It's about representing our clients well, people who sponsor us and who believe still in us, even in spite of the pandemic, and the strategies that we can use to maintain excellence. And so, in spite of the challenges and obviously the very devastating consequences and negative impacts of what COVID has had, there's some other sides to that. And certainly don't want to minimize those strategies and those incidences. But we also know that if we're going to live another 20, 30 years, we're going to have to come out on the other side of that. And I believe in seasons like this, being excellent is huge. So statistically, after the Great Depression, companies actually survived the Great Depression. They were companies that kept their marketing dollars. A lot of companies when there's a recession time, the first place they pull money is from marketing. And what happens is that when you pull money from marketing, it basically minimizes people's confidence in you. That's one of the studies they found in the Great Depression. Companies that continue to put out marketing and content, continue to advertise during the Depression, tended to thrive. And many of those companies are still thriving today because people have confidence in them. When people pull back on their marketing dollars, what actually happened is people lost confidence because they didn't see their face as a presence. They didn't see them now advertising or their media or whatever coming up. And of course, media was different back then. Now, I mean, the great thing about that is that we can market ourselves. You know, many people still aren't comfortable doing that, but we can. And so there's a great way of maintaining quality and excellence during economic challenge. And that is listening to what the challenges are, and then adapting your business model so that you can adjust to that. That's so important. And so often as business owners, as a trainer and speaker, I mean, I get it all the time. What do? I speak for a living. And so I tell people what they need, and like, this is what we're going to talk about, you know? And now in this season, it's like, listen, like, what do you need? How, you know, can we help you? How do your companies need to retool, regroup, or reinvent so they can, you know, survive COVID? And so this is what was really important, not only for myself and my business, but certainly from each and every one of you. There's
if I can add to what you said about marketing, you know, there's a saying out there, another saying, you know, in good times, people want to market, but in bad times, people have to market. You know?
Absolutely.
One of the webinars we were having, you know, one of the things that I would say is, you know, you have to double down on your marketing. Yes. That's the last thing that you want to cut back on, because that's what's going to be feeding your fire, you know. Otherwise,
absolutely.
There's no business if there's no clients. And how do you get clients with marketing?
And that's so true, Sal. But the truth of the matter is, statistically speaking, that's where people feel like they can cut costs. And it just isn't true. And again, with the technology we have now, it's definitely utilizing companies like Unico to be able to get your content out there in a more efficient and effective way. I know I just recently got my app, so I'm really excited about that. You know, things that I thought, oh, those are good ideas, but okay. And then it's like, no, I got to have this. So there's just so many different strategies. So thank you all so much for sharing. We're going to go to the next slide. So how do you become lean? I mean, that's the kind of the topic of this. And so one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about lean for small businesses, because way even before COVID, I ran a construction trades program in San Bernardino, in Rancho Cucamonga. And then I was on the board of the Associated General Contractors, a non-union state apprenticeship program. And then I was on the board of Distribution Management Association. And so we talked a lot about lean. And I realized that a lot of times people thought lean was just for the big companies, just the big warehouses. And as I went to different offices, because I do training and I taught college for many years, as I stated, I realized like how inefficient people were. Like, why are you doing it this way? You know, even early on in construction, you know, the person would go to the site, and then they would go to the office and go to the site. Like, no, go to the site. And then, well, how do we know they're there? You know, it's like, look, they can check in. There's a timestamp. There's so many different efficiencies that can happen. And so I realized that a lot of small businesses were not as versed on lean and what that looks like and how to become more efficient. And I think, again, in a season like what we're experiencing now, just because it's global, sometimes we have to become lean because of the market and it changes, but it may not affect other people. But in this global climate, even people who might be doing very well financially and their business is growing are still having to figure out where to cut the fat. Because if you're growing in one particular area of your business and there's another area of your business that's not growing, then you start redirecting your resources. So becoming lean is observing and documenting processes, is exposing areas of waste, removing waste. And so, for instance, I mean, just the idea, and I mean, it sounds silly to say it right now, but think about it. The idea that you had to go into your office every day to work. I mean, that's no longer a true statement. That there are people who have figured out, and again, there are certainly the exceptions to the rules, but generally speaking, there are most people have figured out how to work, how to survive. And even if your job or business is closed down, like I know like the soup plantation and some companies like that they could not figure out how to pivot. I mean, you know, people have to touch the food. That's the whole business model. And so I think it's the Red Tomato, and if you're back east and in soup plantation, I believe that they've decided to shut their doors more permanently as some other companies. But even then, it's understanding where that waste is, because some people should probably shut their doors, but they're putting more money into what, you know, was a money pit before COVID happened. And I mean, I know those are tough statements to say, but they're true in many, many facets. And so when you think about becoming lean, let's talk about what things that we've observed in our own businesses, things that we've been doing that we kept thinking that there's a better way, but we were too busy to figure out what that better way was, or too busy to implement that better way. Because for most of us, we kind of knew that there's a better way, but we were really too busy to implement that. And so I want to talk a little bit about that. So why don't you, everybody kind of just chime in, you can unmute yourself and talk about some things in your own business that you've observed that you knew were waste even before COVID happened, and you just kind of just didn't do anything about it. Let's all like just put our hands up and say, we've been there.
I'll go ahead and start it off in that a lot of what I was doing on the side was a lot of kind of like graphic design and consulting and things, which typically is handled, you know, kind of online, and it's like you send and then you have to wait for a response, and then they give you something back and they want you to move like 3 things. What I found was that through Zoom, I can do a bunch of drafts live with someone, just jump on a call maybe for an hour and handle a bunch of drafts. And then I have that to go work off of, and they already kind of, they come much closer. So those drafts kind of get me to the point where I need to be to kind of work on my own and finish much quicker instead of constantly like waiting for responses. And you never want to like hassle a customer,
Right.
but you also don't want them to come to you and be like, so when is that done? And I'm like, well, you haven't responded to me for 2 weeks. So as soon as you respond to me with feedback, then I can get started. So it's been a good way to kind of make sure I jump on and really know what a customer wants and be able to deliver something to them. And they like to see it all come together because they can be like, no. And then suddenly something will work. And then I have the kind of path to go on from there.
And that's great, Elisa. And because part of that is what I hear you saying, that the customer is now more a part of the process. Customers now have more time. We now are implementing and using technology that already existed to make our business more efficient. And so, yeah, I know even with getting my app, it was like we did the Zoom call, exactly what you're saying. And then there were things that I was able to do that I did. I mean, the lady taught me how to use my iMovie, so I did that and created some clips. And it's like, oh, this is so cool. So I was very thankful. And just by her giving me that little kind of 10-minute tutoring, I was able to actually help in the process so that she didn't have to create those things. It saved me some money because now I was creating some things that I thought were important for to add to my app just because she gave me the instructions. So yeah, that's great. That's great.
That's excellent.
I think Christina has something she's saying in the chat. Somebody want to read that?
Christina was saying that, and I believe she's explaining like her business, and she says, I basically go to homes and I bring drawing paper and crayons. A lot of customers have children, they're on the TV or computer or YouTube, and she figures, why not put the kids to work in a brilliant way because they're excellent brainstormers. So when her customers want them to make a new landscape design, she utilizes the ideas that the children have, because they're the ones that are going to be living there. And if you give them a sense that it's their idea, then you'll see them enjoying the sunshine outside instead of staying in the house, which is, I love that. That's excellent.
Yeah.
What a cool way to really incorporate the whole family on decision making as well.
Absolutely. And that's what Lean is all about. So traditional Lean, and there's what they call Six Sigma, which is a part of it, but kind of different. But the idea is that Lean is talking to the person actually doing the work. Oftentimes as managers and leaders, they're making decisions about work that they're not actually doing. And so sometimes they make those decisions without having all the information. And so the whole concept of Lean and the work is to be able to talk to the people who are actually physically doing the work, whatever that task may be, and getting their input on how it can be more efficient. So very much like what Christina is saying, the kids are going to play out in that backyard or that area, that landscape, probably 100 times more than the adults. The adults are going to go out to enjoy it, maybe to entertain some friends, but the kids are going to want to go outside. They're going to, let's go, can we go outside? They're going to bug you till they go outside. And so they have an idea what they want that to look like. And so that's a great, great idea. And that's very much what Becoming Lean is. Becoming Lean is looking at areas that a manager or a top person may not recognize is an area of waste. And in small businesses, it happens a lot, mostly because small businesses have a smaller number of people. And so the person with the great idea is usually the owner, but the owner is now trying to do other things, expand their business and keep the business afloat. And so they may be somewhat removed from processes that are no longer as effective, but they have a business plan, they're trying to follow it, they expect everyone to follow it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there are certainly times where the person doing the work would be like, man, I mean, how many times have you had people or people have told you something and you're like, yeah, man, I've been wondering why you've been doing it this way all this time. My kids tell me that all the time, right? Anyone else? Eli has something to say. Oh,
Yeah, this is Steve Figueroa. Are you there? What I wanted to say is what I do was very meeting intensive. We had to go to a lot of meetings, kids being expelled, kids needing special services, interaction with law enforcement, extremely litigious. But these Zoom meetings have really, really helped because parents have the right to record the meetings. So when they record the Zoom meeting, many of the meetings I went to were like depositions because they wound up in juvenile court. They wound up in family court. They wound up in administrative hearings. Now that we have Zoom, not only am I saving 50,000 miles a year on my car, as far as lien, it was great at the end of the year to write. I have all these great tax write-offs. But what's even better, it's caused the school districts to be more accountable because they now know this is being recorded on Zoom, and they can be held accountable. And so having that special knowledge that I have of the education code and things that impact special needs children has caused them to make better offers for my clients. But more importantly, it's actually saving me tons of money because I like I said, 50, 60,000 miles a year driving to every single school for every single meeting. When we're now doing the meetings on Zoom, they could have been done on Zoom all along. They could have been done on telephone all along, but everybody was afraid of being sued because you didn't show up to the meeting. You didn't properly, zealously advocate for them. Now this is the norm, and I hope it continues the norm because it's made everybody more efficient in our documentation, more efficient in our presentations, more efficient in looking out for the kids who actually need the services. And it allows the parents to more equally participate. So, I mean, in my profession, which is, I've been doing it for 35 years, advocating for children, it's nonstop. And this distant learning has actually been a boom for my business, so.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Stephen, for sharing that. And I've seen that too. I mean, even with like the homeless population has been housed, and people are trying to come up with strategies to not only protect them but protect themselves. I mean, hotels that were empty are getting vouchers for homeless people to stay there and keeping the rooms filled so that they can keep their business afloat. I mean, I said it to say that there's processes and things that we have been overlooking, ways that we could have been more efficient years ago, people that could have been helped. And then in this season, again, despite the tragedy, there are people who are being helped that have been overlooked for so long. And very much like what Stephen was talking about, I've seen that. And it's like, it's a blessing in disguise. Again, there are definitely some downsides to it. When you look at the positive side of it, people being helped, people who have been overlooked and not considered, even in our decision making, are being considered. And again, there's no perfect system, but when we think about just the humanitarianness that has come out of this particular pandemic, this is what lean is. There's a lot of waste, and we're looking at that waste saying that. I mean, you think about even the, unemployment, and I'm not trying to be political, but like this money that, nobody knew existed. It's like, oh, well, we're going to give everybody $1,200. Where does money come from? This money's been sitting there when people have needed it. Hardworking families have needed some type of just support, and the money was there all along, but no one knew. And so again, when you think about documenting process, like exposing waste, so we're exposing this money that no one knew existed, and if it wasn't something that we thought, people can have access to really help the common people. And so again, this is not a political mark, but it's just kind of just saying like, wow, well, where were those resources at 10 years ago or last year, right? And so all those different things. And so the fact is, even Eli talked about the country borrowed it, okay, and so they did, but they're using it to help people. People who need work, people who are independent contractors, people who are helping. So again, it's not an idea political, but it's thinking that things that we didn't know existed happen. So anybody else? Grandchildren will pay it back. Okay, the grandchildren will pay it back. Okay.
I'll gladly pay it back.
Gladly pay it back. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And he did also say that part of how he removed waste was being able to prepare more information for customers in an executive summary level, and then attach like the technical and financial information for their review. So, even skipping meetings, being like, here's everything, come prepared. And then in the meeting, everyone's on the same level.
Absolutely.
So, and I think with that too, because it's kind of like, again, it's that process of why weren't we doing this the whole time? I think now, because we're in such an unprecedented time, everyone is so open to new ways to do things. And
Yes.
so before, where the solution of using hotels for the homeless has existed, no one was going to test it because, you know, it didn't feel like such a pressing issue.
Right.
I feel like, you know, we can all see that pressing issues have come to light lately, especially at a humanitarian level, but also at business levels where it's
Right.
like, how do I do this now? And people are like, well, you know, you've never wanted to try this, but maybe this is the time. And even like
Mhm.
Sal said, like people are jumping on with technology who refused to use it for years
Yes.
before this,
Yes.
years, and they're like, well, we have to now. And you know, I'm glad. Like just a little anecdotal story quickly. My mother gets on with her sisters every week on a Zoom call.
Mhm.
And then now they do that weekly because, you know, and I feel like they're communicating more now than they ever have before, you know, and they're a very communicative family, but they found a solution to kind of the way that they like to communicate before. Is they're like, we're going to figure out Zoom for a lot of people who don't like to use technology.
Right.
And it's really worked
Absolutely.
out for them. Yeah.
Absolutely. Anyone else? What is waste what are some waste that have been exposed in your company and remove waste? I think Kristen had something that she wrote in the chat popped up.
Oh, she was saying that you just got to think out of the box.
Okay, absolutely, absolutely. And now the box, we're all out of the box, right? We're all out of the box of the office. We're all out of the box of traditional church. We're all out of the box of traditional gyms and ways that we've done all these things that we could only do it this way. We're all out of those boxes. I mean, literally, we're standing outside the box saying, okay, how do we do this?
We're reinventing the box. The box is no longer what it was before. We're reinventing the box what it was. It's now like, it's going to be like little like quartz or something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, yeah, I went and got my nails done and they were sitting outside in the parking lot with tents because
he's doing it, right? I mean, over in Mexico, they're creative and they do the nails and the haircuts right outside.
Right.
It was normal. Over here, it was a health hazard. So it's causing our government and even our businesses to rethink and say, why was this a health hazard and now it's not?
Right. Now it's a health hazard to be in the box, right? I mean, just the irony of it. And that's it. I said that earlier, I think, before you joined on. You know, those in diverse communities, we figured out how to survive in spite of whatever you're going to throw us. We're going to figure out a different way, a solution, and that's really what it is. And so, and again, doing it outside. I mean, I'm wondering why so many more salons aren't doing that, but you know, do it outside. I did talk to one gentleman out in the Palm Desert area and said, well, you know, out here it's 108 degrees outside, so I don't think people want to be getting their nails done that way. But still, you know, that's the solution for a lot of other parts of the country. So again, we are exposing waste, and you know, here exposing is a huge thing. We have technology. We're seeing waste, seeing different things that have been happening, and we'll get to expose it, and then we get to remove it, and then we get to come with solutions to become more efficient. You know, we create step-by-steps and actions that allow us to begin this journey of becoming more efficient. Because as I stated previously, yes, after 9/11, people went back to flying. People were a little less scared as the years have come by. I think we're like, almost 20 years in 9/11. And the reality of it is we don't fly the same way before then. And post-COVID is going to be the same way. So you're going to really make everybody drive into the office now when you figured out that most of those people are more productive at home. Now, there's certainly an exception to the rules. So is it more lean and more efficiency for people to work from home? I mean, I think this is what made Starbucks so popular. People were sitting on couches and in these comfortable environments, and they were producing and innovating, and Starbucks bought into that and said, here's my Wi-Fi, here's this, you know, those kind of things. Because why? They're removing waste. There's a generation that says, why do I have to go to the office? Why can't I just do it from my computer? Right? And we're saying, oh, no, you need a good day's work for a good day's pay. And they're like, look, we just figured out all your problems in like 2 hours. I just want to go to the beach and I don't care about the pay. I live with my parents still, you know, that kind of thing, right? And so this is kind of what we're talking about. So again, a lot of the technologies that we're using, they've existed. I mean, Zoom did not just come on the board. You know, Edison's been using Skype for years because it's an international company. How do you communicate with people on the other side of the world? You know, different diverse communities have been using technology for years because how do you communicate with people on the other side of the world, you know? Yeah, welcome back, everyone. Sorry, I was muted. Is everyone back? Yes, no, maybe?
Just realized I was muted as well.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, welcome back. Like, all right, awesome. So let's go over these poll results. So what is your primary focus for your business after ensuring the safety of your staff and customers? Now, I'm really surprised that there was no one that wrote innovation. Because to me, I think this whole season is about innovating. But quality, okay, quality is really important. So someone who wrote quality or voted for quality, can you talk about what that looks like in your business?
So why I chose that one was because usually as a customer myself, as a consumer, I really prioritize quality. Before I ever buy anything or I hire anyone to do a certain task, I look at reviews a lot because that's a really important factor for me, especially like, for example, how Amazon does a really good job of that in terms of, having customer reviews. So I feel like the better quality you have, the more the word will get out there and the more that consumers will, direct other consumers to that same product. So that's the reason why I chose quality.
Okay. Someone else? 64% of people chose quality. So you want to tell me what that looks like in your business? Come on, you can do it. Unmute yourself.
I guess I could go ahead and speak.
Okay, thanks, Jeremy.
So, you're welcome. I actually probably should have said innovation because of the fact that, I say quality because we're doing more attention to detail for our clients, but we're also asking questions like, what are they doing for safety? Do they have the floor stickers that are keeping them 6 feet apart? Do they have enough hand sanitizers? Because we do promotional hand sanitizers. We do promotional masks. We do the signage, the A-frames, stuff like that. So those are questions that I'm asking my current clients if they have. And I've been getting a lot of business that way. But so it's just basically the reason why I said the quality, because of the fact we're more paying attention to our clients that we do have.
Okay, yeah, then that's great. That's great. Absolutely. I think as a trainer, because people ask me a lot of different questions about things and different articles I've written, I'm always innovating because it's like, okay, there has to be a solution for these businesses. Businesses are 51% of our economy. We got to figure out how to keep them open in spite of the challenges. So yeah, certainly. And so someone talked about keeping the doors open. Anybody want to share about what keeping the doors open means for you? I know that that's a challenge, for a lot of businesses. Anybody want to chime in on that? Keeping the doors open?
I think you want to keep the doors open. Like, you want to make sure that they know that even if, for example, you can't physically keep the doors open, like you have like a way to communicate with someone and to view their products. I know Eli was saying complete to get through clients and complete set of data to enhance their decision making. One thing, Catherine, you mentioned earlier, you asked Jeremy, you were like, okay, so how old are those cards that you put into like chimp mail?
Right.
When was the last time you saw them face to face, right? And maybe some of those businesses changed their platform. Maybe they went to a different email, changed their cell phone. I think those are one of those things like, okay, just make sure that not just because it's COVID, but make sure you stay in contact with your clients. Make sure that you're on that one-on-one experience, that they feel that.
Thank you so much, Carmen. Collaboration. So how are we collaborating differently than what we may have been doing before?
This is Steve. And I'll tell you, in my line of business, again, working with individuals with disabilities, it's basically because we're under the spotlight more, we have to collaborate in order to develop an individualized educational plan or program or disability program for that disabled student and their families. Because COVID has brought on so many things that when we like to say when the child's disabled, you got to service the whole family.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise, it just doesn't work. You know, if a parent, there's no instruction book on how to deal with autism or ADHD or emotional disturbance when they come from a perfect family, but yet they have these issues. And so without the collaboration working together, and the collaboration brings around compliance, because when people are collaborating, they're more likely to produce the quality product that's in compliance with the education. And that the collaboration, again, mandates that we be innovative. We
All right. Hey guys. So just walked into this break room, and I know Tika and Eli, you guys are both on your phones, so I know you can't engage as much. But we were talking about Zoom. We were talking about different technologies. How do you do your strategies for your business to continue growing, reorganize during COVID? Now, Yvonne, I know you just joined the LLC like a few weeks ago, and I know that it's an amazing project. It's going to be not for DACA students, but it's for immigrant students that can't get employment. And unfortunately, during our current administration, immigration has been a lot harder. And what do you realize about your organization? I'm going to go to Tika after. But what have you realized in your organization to get to these students, or just to these general community members that don't have DACA, they graduated, and how do they get a job?
Yeah, so I think that we've done a lot of communication and networking with different organizations and with universities, and because our main audience is students, UCR students, then we are constantly contacted, the documented student programs and like different like Chicano students programs and different UCR programs that can connect us with different immigrant students so that we can help them. So I think that reaching out to them and telling them what our vision and goals are, it's been really important. And because the pandemic happened, we've been sending a lot of emails and a lot of Zoom calls, calling, and making sure that we are reaching out to them so that we can connect, have a connection, and start working with them.
Yeah, thank you, Yvonne. That's amazing. And I really do look forward to your organization and what you can accomplish for a lot of graduates that don't have DACA protection and are still looking for like getting a job and so forth. And Tika, can you elaborate a little bit more, and then I'll get to Eli. Tika, I'm not sure if you're there, but like we would love to see how you've transitioned. There you are.
Hi. So mine is a beauty supply store that I am thinking about opening up, but still trying to get a feel for if this is the right timing to do so. But I mean, it would really just be making the necessary changes for the safety of the customers. As I go into supply stores now, I see that there is hand sanitizer everywhere. You still have to maintain your distance, and the cashiers have gloves and masks on. So really just creating that atmosphere that people feel comfortable with still being able to shop amongst everything that is going on. And just really trying to think outside the box with different methods to still be able to sell products, such as like the curbside pickup or just pre-ordering online, just doing that sorts of things that are making companies still be able to stay in the game during this time. So yeah.
No, you know what? That's awesome too, because, you know, like for example, like if I want to get my nails done, or if I want to, like, not necessarily cut my hair, I'm not going to cut my hair, but like if I wanted to get color or something, how awesome would it be that I can go curbside? And you know what, there's some things that you can just apply for yourself and like get the roots, you know, and you're great. But then again, like it's finding those locations. So that's actually really cool, because I think there is a need for it. And if you talk about Los Angeles or San Diego, I feel like there's so many more things. But in Riverside, I think we need people like you, Tika. And I know we're gonna have to go back to the original one, but Eli had some good ideas too that I'll share with you. I know we didn't get to go to everybody, but both of you guys, I am inspired, and you know what? You guys are gonna make it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we're gonna return to the main session now.
And as it is my son, because of the epidemic, there's not a lot of pay. So my oldest son works with us, and he doesn't like it very much, but he gets his room paid for, he gets his phone paid for, but he gets paid for the commercial lots, but he doesn't get paid for the residential lots, because the residential lots pays for his house, for his rent.
Fair enough.
And so I tried explaining it to him, but I think I'm going to have to show him the ropes of what I have to do with the paperwork.
Right. Well, good. Thank you so much for sharing that, Christina. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much. Christina was just sharing what that looked like for her, because her company has had to reorganize, and you know, and when you have a business that has family members in it, sometimes they don't see the picture. I think Bethsaida kind of said the same thing, that you know, she's first generation, and so people don't fully understand what goes into the work she does. And so sometimes reorganizing around your value system is really sometimes challenging, especially if you can't communicate that to the people around you. Because traditionally we all go to our own space, do our work, and then we come back and do the family thing. And so this, of course, is very different. So what did you guys come up with in your breakout room sessions?
So we were talking in our breakout session, and it was really amazing. Like, I had Yvonne again, and then I also had Tika. And so we were talking about two very different professions. We were talking about one LLC that's going to help students that are not DACA recipients, but undocumented students that didn't meet that like line, that actually can get a job. And then Tika was talking about like beauty products. And I would love them to just like tell you a little bit about how they're reorganizing, because it was really inspirational.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to hear that. Please share.
Hey, I can go first. I was just saying, oh, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you and see you. You look beautiful.
Okay.
Yes.
So I was just saying, just implementing a lot of the things that the current beauty supply stores are doing right now, where they're just making sure that their customers are safe, as well their employees are safe, by wearing masks and having hand sanitizer at each station, and just making sure that people are the 6 feet apart. And then I also mentioned just other ways to kind of ensure more safety. What I thought of maybe having a curbside pickup, which are a lot of what the big industries are doing right now, like Target, Walmart, and just doing that even with hair products, to be able to have people order online or pre-order and just being able to pick it up on the curb. Just more innovative ideas to keep the safety but still keep the business moving.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so very much.
Products, because I'm like, I would love to just like get something that I'm like, I can't go to a hairstylist, I can't go to a nail salon. Like, I would love to like pick up Tika as like products and be like, all right, girl, I got this.
Absolutely. I definitely think nail salons are an essential business. I'm not sure why other people don't think that, but clearly they're essential. So who's the other person on your team, Carmen? Tika?
So Yvonne was the other person on my team, and that was the LLC that I was talking to you. There's a few of the members on here, so I don't know if Alondra or Yvonne want to talk about it, but I love what she had to say about this specific question. Yvonne?
Yeah, so I was mentioning that we've been networking
Mhm.
with universities and with nonprofits and different organizations to, connect with non-DACA students, and so that we can start making those, collaborations, networking, so that we can learn who needs help and how can we help them, and also how can we refer them to other organizations so that they can grow their entrepreneurial, skills. So that's what we've been doing so far.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so very much. Very good. All right. Thank you guys for sharing.
Catherine, if you
So,
could,
mhm.
really quick in our group, Marilise, if you don't mind sharing, we kind of earlier kind of touched on it a little bit, but she's the one that works in the mental health industry. So
Right.
it's an avenue that we don't hear a lot about, but everybody's dealing with. It's very prevalent, important during this time. So if she could speak a little bit about that, I'd appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Okay, I don't even know what I did. I did something on my screen and I don't know what happened.
Well, we can see you.
Okay, perfect. I think it's been a lot about coming together. People are depleted. We work with mental health, but we're also human. So while we're trying to manage our own mental health and our own crisis and our own response to everything that's going on, then there's also the, how we're present for these individuals who are suffering, who have increased anxiety, increased depression, increased crisis. We're seeing all of it just kind of, skyrocket. So, in that we get very depleted as colleagues, as, as a team. So I have seen a lot of creativity within the agency to really pull ourselves together to support each other. And it seems very genuine. I think the genuineness is what stands out more than anything else, because people feel it. You feel it when people, know that you care. They just, you don't have to sell it. They just feel it. They know it. When you're trying to, sell up something that, isn't so genuine, people see that too. So when you feel that support amongst each other, you got a client or a customer, it's something that brings people together in these trying times. Everybody's freaking out. It's all uncertainty. Nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow, or so it's a little scary for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Everybody's having to reorganize, and that's really what Lean is. So this is an interesting time to even have this conversation, because before I had to kind of explain it to people and kind of pull it out, but you guys are doing it. You've been kind of forced into it. So we're going to move on to polling question number 3. Yes. Thank you. So, you want to launch that? The greatest challenge impacting your business effectiveness and efficiency. We launched the poll question number 3, Memo.
I can't see it.
Yeah, I don't think it's come up just yet.
Yeah, the question is, what is the greatest challenge impacting your business effectiveness and efficiency? And the answers are either A, revenue, technology, there we go, staffing, or safety.
Staffing.
Okay.
You know why that is, right, guys? Because everybody's getting that $1,500 check every 2 weeks, and they don't want to go back to work.
All right. I hope we got all the answers in. Thank you so very much. We're going to launch the results. Okay, revenue, technology, staffing, safety. So there's a little bit of everything. So, you know, having the money and the resources to actually move your business forward can be a challenge. Again, in this season, there's some people who are making tons of money, other people that are really struggling. So COVID has definitely impacted people so different. Technology, of course, is very important. Again, I know as a trainer, everything that I do now has become virtual. So I'm constantly having to buy different things, you know, as different things come up, you know, okay, I gotta have this because it's just not having it is not an option. Staffing. So yeah, so exactly. There's just so many different things, not being able to have as many people on site. So even if you did have staff available, you can only have so many people in such a different type of space. So, and safety, of course, being very important. So thank you guys so very much. So again, we talk again about, next slide, please. So value stream mapping is very much what we've been talking about. You guys are all identifying areas in your business that are of value to you and how you're trying to maintain that within your industry. So many of the workshops teach about how to make rapid changes. Obviously, because of COVID, people have been forced to make rapid changes and they haven't had time to think about it, which is actually, I think, has been helpful. It actually falls into the whole lean process where you kind of just get thrown into it. Certainly, again, the reasons why are not fun. But the idea that we've had to come up with values and make sure that our customers are receiving the value that we want to offer is vitally important. Next slide, please. So in our breakout room session number 3, we're going to discuss with the group the strategies that you're using so that your customers know that you still value them. We talked a little bit earlier, like with marketing, and Sal kind of chimed in on that, you know, as long as you continue to market and people continue to have confidence in your business. What are you doing specifically to create value for your customers? So, breakout rooms.
Jeremy? Okay, so we're gonna move from Jeremy. And Alondra, we were talking about the LLC and how we can do this. Eli, if you can engage, I know you can engage in the chat room. I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. However, Simon, how has it been different? Jeremy, can you hear me? Alondra, Eli, any of you? So Eli says working to get more in sync with the customer. So how do you get more in sync with the customer, Jeremy? I don't think so. You're still there.
I think just trying to, like I mentioned before, networking with other people that have like the same mindset has been really important for us to kind of move forward in what we need to do.
And how have you been able to reach out to those that needed the organization, especially right now with COVID and so forth? How have you been able to engage?
So I think for the LLC, since we are still in the beginning stages, we haven't really looked more towards reaching out to other people that would need their organization necessarily in regards to like having them be members, just because we want to have a solid foundation before we do that. But we did get Yvonne recently, and the way we did that is kind of just looking in within our own networks that we have at UCR, like we have in the undocumented student programs, we have, Chicano Latino Center. There are those resources that we have been able to reach out to reach more people that we think would need that opportunity.
And I appreciate that, Alondra, because I know you've reached out to our chamber and to make sure that we have our resources as well. So it's great, and keep on the movement, whatever we can do to support. And Jeremy, at this point, I think your speaker's back on. Can you tell us how much you or how you've engaged your customers and changed it?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. What I've done is I created a discount code and send it out to a lot of my clients so they could go back to my website, and I give them a 20% off.
But it was just because of COVID? Like, why were you, or
I'm reaching out to customers that I haven't seen. Like, I have like a handful, maybe between 10 to 20 clients that I'm always contacting. So the ones that I haven't in a while, that I haven't seen any business from, I'm offering a 20% discount to bring them back to my website. I did make some changes in my website, so that's my reason for contacting them. Say, by the way, we have some new specials on our website. Here's 20% off. Come and check us out. See what we have to offer. Stuff like that.
That's perfect. And it goes to Eli's point. Eli was saying, asking them how they feel and how we can accommodate better under these challenging times, right? Yeah. So showing a little bit more empathy towards your customers, which shows that you gave a discount saying, like, I'm not asking you for 100% of the business because you're struggling, we're struggling, but you're still saying, hey, let's work together and let's make this work. Right?
Right.
And something similar to what the chamber did, we offered a 90-day membership free trial just for people. Like, we're not going to be charging during that. We have to show that we care and we care for our clients. And for example, Alondra is just starting her business, and you know what she did? Her and her team reached out to the chamber, reached out to a lot of different organizations, and how can we help to make sure that their foundation is set up correctly? I don't know if anybody else, but I think they're directing us back to the main session. But Jeremy, Eli, Alondra, thank you so much for sharing. I think this is really important.
Thanks.
Thank you, Carmen.
All right. So what do you guys think? What are some things that you're trying to do for your customers?
So I think we had Jeremy in our session, we had Alondra, and Jeremy had a really good thing with advertising because he does have current members. Eli had a really good point about making sure that you're more empathetic to your clients at this time because their business is hurting as well. Jeremy, talk a little bit about how you've changed your price and so forth to make sure that you do take in other businesses while still making your business survive.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's so true. I mean, I think, again, you guys have hit on it several times that this is all about the customers, and being empathetic is definitely true, recognizing that everybody's feeling challenged in the pinch in this time. So you have to surround your services with that. You know, traditionally, when it comes to lean, you have to make it mandatory. But obviously, because of the season we're in, as I've said many times, it's automatically mandatory because what else are you going to do? And so that's really what we're talking about as far as this season, as far as how do we continue to grow our business in spite of and in lieu of the current situation. Because at the end of the day, we have to overcome this. We got to get past this. So a lot of times crisis prompts a lean movement. So sometimes within a business, if you lose a major contract and you're like, well, I got to figure out how to become more efficient. So there's a lot of times different crisis that happens. And again, this is before the pandemic, that this was a process that happens. But that's what typically turns companies around. Of course, with the pandemic itself, it's kind of forced people to do that. So one of the things we want to talk about is what are the opportunities that you've had to become financial gain? I think that's in one of our next breakout session is where are we at? I'm sorry. Yeah, so on our whiteboard session, or what are some ways that, I'm sorry, next, yeah, thanks. What are some ways that your company has found to be opportunistic by realigning itself in the pandemic? And I just want to kind of talk, just open your mic so you can type it on the board. But what are some things that you've done? How are you finding opportunities? I know some of the beauty suppliers are now selling masks and gloves and things. I remember the day that they were shutting them all down, and I was going to get some products and things like, okay. And the guy's like, get your gloves, get your masks. And so, they're being innovative. So type on here on the whiteboard some ways. Remember that you have to annotate, and you can type some ways that you have found to be opportunistic during this season. Think about the toilet paper companies and the Cloroxes and all these different companies are now like, I have a friend that actually ended up getting COVID and thank God survived, but now they're doing hand sanitizer. They got a contract because the person didn't have staff and things like that. So there was these opportunities that just kind of dropped in their lap. And I think some people are feeling that. Of course, other people are feeling challenged with that. I have one friend who, you guys can type while I'm talking. I'm kind of doing that. I have one friend who, they have people that are not renewing their contracts because they can't afford to keep their doors open. So this is allowing other people to get their contracts as well. So I'm not seeing any answers on here. Is it me? You guys not participating?
Still typing. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
I can hear you, but I'm dealing with my husband at the same time. Sorry, guys.
Okay, no problem. Thank you so much for staying on. We're almost done. So again, as we continue to, floor stickers, okay, frames, okay, thank you. The scholarship program that have business sponsors, hand sanitizers, that's great. Yeah, there's so many different ways and strategies we can become opportunistic. And opportunistic does not have to be a negative thing. I think the goal is always to create win-wins because that's just the issue of integrity. Obviously, some people have taken advantage and charging $50 for hand sanitizers and all kind of nonsense, but that's not what we're talking about. We're just talking about recognizing how our business may need to shift to take advantage of opportunities that would not normally present themselves. So offering training services for those who need to beat the learning curve. Absolutely, absolutely. So we're gonna go on to our next slide. Thank you all very much. So again, making it mandatory, it's kind of mandatory because we are in COVID. So the slide has a different meaning than what it has had in the past. So we're gonna go into breakout room session 4. And so the question and statement is that someone did something right to get you to this point. So discuss with your group ways to build on that. So it took something to get to the point that you're at, because most businesses fail within the first year, and then another set fell within the first 3 years, and then 5 years. You're still here. So the idea is that what have you done, and how do you carry on the legacy that's already been built in your business? So we're going to go in the breakout room to kind of just discuss that briefly, and then I want to hear, what's the heritage, and to identify what you and your company stand for.
For $500, right? And I feel like there's a borderline need where yes, there's a cost, but make so that our community can afford those things, whether it's a hair extensions, whether it's legal services, marketing. We have to make sure our community is not being taken advantage of and being charged these exorbitant fees just because they can. And I'm sure, Tika, you can talk a little bit about that, like in the beauty industry.
Yeah, I'm actually from Florida. I moved here about 3 years ago. So coming from Florida and
She's in planning.
We have a little bit of a delay here on my end. I apologize.
It says she's still in planning.
Still in the planning phase. Okay, so what are those ideas and those risks or those concepts that you do want to build on in the future for your business?
I think these are more like personal risks and just challenges that one faces, especially when starting a business. I feel like you question yourself, you question every move you're going to make, every just resources. Am I taking advantage of this? Is there a better one out there? And your time. And I think it just takes initiative, just overcoming that.
So from a personal standpoint, do you think classes like this help you build on that to be able to make those decisions more confidently?
Yes, especially hearing from other business owners' perspectives and experiences and just what they're doing. It's really helpful.
I agree.
Guys, I think they're going to close out this room here, so we'll see you guys in the main room in just a sec.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. All right. So what did we come up with, guys? What are some ways that you're carrying on the heritage, the legacy of maintaining your business, growing your business, that you've gotten this far? What are some things that you can do?
So,
and one of our
Catherine, I think Joe was going to say something.
No.
Joe, yes.
Yeah, in our group, Catherine and I were discussing with Fernanda. She's in the process of still planning her business. She's still in the planning phase. That was a different, unique perspective on it. One of the big things she was saying, Fernanda, if you want to share, but she was saying that she takes situations like this where she can learn from other people and try to build on that to build her own legacy, her own heritage of how she's going to manage her business moving forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's exactly it. I mean, this whole concept of lean is realigning your metrics, your businesses with the things that you value. And sometimes as you start your business, you start doing things that you don't necessarily value, but they seem necessary. And then when you have these crises and you have to come back in, you become that. So as you're planning on building your business and your plan, it may look a little different because the needs of the community are now different. But now you have the opportunity to kind of take all that in, as you said, learn from people, and then say, okay, I'm going to approach it this way. I'm going to meet a need here. There's a great opportunity here that I can create win-win scenarios with each person. So that's amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Fernanda, did you have anything else you want to add?
That was it, really. I also briefly mentioned just taking initiative and just overcoming your own personal challenges that we kind of set upon ourselves. Like we second guess every decision, especially when you're starting out. I know I used to do that, but just hearing everyone just share, it's been really inspiring, it's just being brave, sometimes you just have to do it and then learn as you go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for that. And that's it. Now you're at a place again where each of us have to build our own company's roots and develop our own way. There's not a handbook for this type of season. This is unprecedented times. This means, nobody can tell you what it was like back then when COVID happened or when the world shut down and businesses shut down and, you have this kind of thing going on. And so now you're going to have to figure out your own way. And that's what lean is all about. So, I hope as we've gone through this session and had these various discussions that you really have grasped that I have to become more efficient. I have to take more of a proactive approach in creating and generating business opportunities for myself and creating solutions that are meaningful to my customers so that I can keep my doors open, because this too shall pass. So thank you. Next slide, Alyssa. So again, traditionally, you hire, you develop lean leaders, and we have this whole formal way of doing that. But now, because of the pandemic, you are the lean leader. You are the person saying, hey, we can't afford to do this. We got to do it this way. Starbucks immediately started working more closely with Grubhub. I mean, some companies just kind of immediately knew we got to do this, we got to do that, because if people can't come here, what are they going to do? And so that's really part of that whole thing. And so again, this conversation was very different if we took this class last year than what we are now, because now it's not somebody trying to teach you how to be lean. It's like, I have no choice. I'm kind of stuck in this thing. So, so again, just recognize that this is a process that's been around for many, many years. And Toyota kind of led the way with these various, what they call Kaizen and different things. And they brought experts to teach them on how to get good, quick results. And now we're in a season where, the experts can't even come out of their houses either. You have to become the expert. And so this is the season we're in. And so I hope that this training has encouraged you to be innovative, have encouraged you to see that, there's a brighter side to the challenges that we're all facing. To help you become empathetic with your customers and to really find ways and strategies that you can not only keep your business open, but you can keep people satisfied. That you can be one of those businesses that, becomes a millionaire post-economic downturn. And you can tell your children and grandchildren and leave a legacy that, even in a crisis, we were able to survive and overcome insurmountable odds so that we can be successful. This is what this conversation is about. This is what lean is, because it's about being more efficient. It's about doing things better in a better way, not just doing things the way that we've always done them. And this situation, this crisis has forced us to really look at how we've done things and how we can do it better. So thank you. Next slide, please. And so the whole Toyo model is, again, you have a technical process, you have the management, you have the people, and the philosophies. A lot of our philosophies, if we're really honest, during a season like this, COVID has totally been out the window. The things that we thought had to be this certain way, this is how I want to run my business, is no longer true, because you're having to do things totally different, totally outside the box, totally not traditional. And so even though there's, these philosophical ideals, customer first, but a lot of times we're too busy to have customer first, but we're trying to get more customers. This idea that, people are the most important thing, but then when our customers come in, they don't feel like they're the most important thing. So again, those philosophies are important, but in a time like this, being on a Zoom call, having call after call after call, and these types of things are important, because those customers are what's keeping your doors open, that relationship. Obviously, we're having to be technical. We're having the company like Unico and Sal and his team, Memo, and Michelle, and just the partnership between the Greater Riverside Hispanic Chamber is like, hey, technical, you're the expert, take the lead on this. And it was no longer just an option, it's now mandatory. If we couldn't do a Zoom call, there might be sponsorship opportunities lost. We won't be able to communicate valuable information so that others can be encouraged and strengthened during a time where people are feeling discouraged. And so that's it. And you have a management team that needs to be sensitive to the people that are calling to do the job. First responders that are coming out and having to put their lives on the line on a regular basis to help those people who have fallen down with this sickness. And so again, when we think about this and technical, we're having to do all these things. We're having to come up, we're having to be our own experts. So I really encourage you to just be encouraged as you go into your business. Look at how you're going to keep your legacy alive, the heritage that went into that. Even those who are first generation business owners and college students and things like that, what are you going to do to keep all the work and hard work that the people before you have gone? How are you going to carry that on? It can't be that COVID happened and the whole world's coming to an end. We have a long ways to go, and so I'm confident the world is not ending as soon as we may think. Although this has definitely been something to open our eyes. A lot of us have talked about being humanitarian, and that's so important. That our philosophies about people become real, where the homeless are being served, people who have been historically not represented well in some of the work, like what Stephen is doing, is really, really important. And so these are the kind of things, again, the Toyota model was just a model. It wasn't telling you that you have to do it this way, but these are things that they found to be vitally important. So even in your management model, it's looking at, the true north. What is your real focus? Or do you really care about people? I do a lot of OSHA training, and the first thing you'll say is, oh, your company will care about your safety. And there's always a person that says, I told my manager that my forklift or this wasn't working. They told me, well, just finish out your shift. And the minute you tell a person that finish out their shift, when they tell you that there's a problem with the forklift or some tool in their company, you're saying that they're not the most important thing. Safety isn't more important. That you getting the job done is more important than your safety. And so I hope, again, as we've gone through this kind of concept, you've been able to talk it out with your peers, that you can kind of think of some ways that you can be more strategic and take in better opportunities to grow your business. Next slide, please. So we have a poll question 4, just talking about the basic philosophy of Lean. So we can launch that.
And while we're taking this, I'm going to go ahead and refresh this real quick.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So I know that it's getting late in the evening. Thank you so much for staying in. I know that you are enjoying Catherine's presentation because that was awesome, Catherine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carmen.
Different things. And these poll questions are important, not just for you, but we're going to use these poll questions for our membership, for our, like, we have over 1,200 members. So these questions that you're answering are questions that are going to also make us sure that we're answering all our small businesses, entrepreneurs. I see there's 6 more. So if 6 more can answer the question, come on, you guys. We're almost there. We're almost to the survey. I want to get you there. Catherine, I agree with you. Next time we have to have like music, like just like some pump up music.
Yeah, we gotta do the music.
Some pump up music.
You guys want DJ Sal to come out, huh?
DJ Sal, hit it.
Coffee. Coffee's a plus.
Yes, we can do virtual coffee too. I do that as well. Virtual coffee is great.
Oh, but you haven't seen the prize that we have for the end of the raffle, so.
All right. All right, so what we got is the basic philosophy of Lean is focus on processes and their improvement, focus on customers first, and the value you provide. And so again, each of those things are all part of the process. It's really important that we focus on the customer as well as the process and improvement. And so again, we're going to be customer centric. We have to keep processes and improving our process so customers know that they're valued and that they continue to support our business. So thank you all so very much for your time. We're going to launch the survey. So I'm going to turn it over to Carmen and Joe, and they're going to launch the survey with the QR code.
And you know what, Catherine, before we launch that, I want to thank you because you have been doing Business Without Boundaries for many years for the Greater Riverside Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We find you valuable. There's a reason why we started you as our kickoff, our week 1, because you pump us up. Regardless of, we are in a pandemic. COVID-19 hit all of us, all business owners, our community, like we have never expected. But I love the energy that you have, and I love that you actually remind our membership that this is not the end. There's so many more things out there, whether you are changing your marketing strategy, where you're making your business lean, which is exactly what you need to do. There's some businesses that could have made themselves lean 5 years ago. They didn't know where to make themselves lean. And then COVID, unfortunately, has had a financial burden on businesses. But not only that, it's showed them where they need to cut down as well. Things that maybe, okay, like Jeremy was saying, how about if I was paper printing? And now I know I need to go more on the web. I need to use my social media. It's just changing your business to adapt to the situation. We're going to survive as long as we keep using these resources. And I am so happy that you are our first instructor to kick off our week 1 of Business Without Boundaries, because it starts us off with a bang.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Catherine. And with that, I'm going to take it over to
you did awesome.
Sorry, what was that, Christina?
I said thank you as well. You did awesome, and I'm actually a member of the Chamber of Commerce in Riverside as well.
Oh, fantastic!
Thank you so much, Mr.
And the link to the survey is also in the chat. I know some people might have joined mobile today, so if you have trouble opening it up or can't scan it, the QR code, feel free to also email at info@grhc.com, and we can get you that as well.
Yeah, definitely. If anybody's having trouble with the QR code, like Elisa said, it is right there in the chat box. Also, you can go directly to the link. If for some reason you can't connect it there, you are on mobile.
Great. I was able to get it right on my.
Yeah, it's not allowing me to even push on it. I can push on it, but it's not allowing me to go into it.
Yeah, if you guys are having any trouble with the QR code or anything like that, again, you can reach out to me directly at info@grhcc.com. I'll be sure and send you a direct link to that survey. This is a huge help for this program. We want to let Edison know what a great job Catherine did and make sure that she gets the feedback, Edison gets the feedback that everybody's been enjoying the teaching, enjoying the class. So one way or another, we'll make sure that you guys definitely do get the survey, we get them taken care of.
Yes, and please fill out the survey. I know once we get off the call, we're like, oh, the day's ended, but please follow up because it's also a way to maintain the support. Edison's been a great supporter of the Greater Riverside Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for many, many years. Even before I was doing Edison training, I partnered with them and with some of the other chamber partnerships. And so it's a great tool, and sponsorship, especially in a time like this, is so important. So we definitely want to know the value. And if there's anything that we can improve upon, please let us know. So yeah, thank you guys again so much for hanging in there. I know after a long day, sometimes it's sitting at home and then sitting at home longer, it's there, but I thank you guys for engaging and participating. If there's any questions, we can answer the questions while you guys are filling out the survey as well. So feel free to ask.
And also for those of you that haven't been able to participate on the survey on the link directly, Joe and Lisa, why don't we make sure that we do the roll call, we do the survey taking, and whoever wins the prize, we'll announce it tomorrow. And what do you guys think?
Yeah, we have the roll call. The roll call is current. I was keeping track with it as we were going throughout the class. So I have everybody's contact information who is here. So anybody that I don't get a survey response from, I will follow up with to send a direct link to the survey. And if you guys can get this back to us within 24 hours, that would be awesome. So we can get this information over to Edison and make sure that Catherine gets a great rating.
Perfect. Yeah. So we just want to let the winners know then after what we'll do the.
Yeah. So we make sure that we get everybody's survey in and make sure that we have everybody gets a chance to get in there in case they have any connection problems with the code.
Yeah, so unfortunately, some of you that weren't able to connect online, we were supposed to announce the gift today, but just because it would be unfair to those that have stayed the whole time and aren't able to do the survey, let's make sure that tomorrow, watch out for an email. It's going to come from info@grhcc.com, and you're definitely going to get your prize. And please make sure you share this with other people, entrepreneurs, business owners, or community members that can actually benefit from this. We can all benefit from this. I really want to thank our business training program committee. So our head Elisa and Joe and Sal for helping us put us all on together, and our instructor Catherine. And please don't forget the next week, if you are a business owner or want to be in a business, we are going to be talking about legal strategies. So do you know the difference between an S Corp and a C Corp? Do you know a difference between an LLC, a partnership, a sole proprietorship? If you don't know those questions or don't know which business you think you want to incorporate as or become as, please join us next week, because that's what we're going to be talking about. What's best for your business and how to structure your business the best. So I would like to thank everybody on here. Have a great night. Thank you for joining us. I hope to see you next week. And I really appreciate it. I'm going to turn it off to Elisa to say our good night speech.
Good night speech. Oh, yeah. Again, thank you guys all so much for attending. We have been preparing and looking forward to this. And, midway, or I should say even, in like the first quarter of the year, what this would look like changed vastly. And I am so happy that not only do we get to bring back one of our favorite, trainers to facilitate this course and really, like Carmen was saying, like pump you guys up and show you guys we've all learned so much just through practice, and experience is so much of that. And all of you are capable of not only implementing lean, but leading your own businesses and becoming leaders in many different ways, whether that's through organizations that you guys are forming together and working together and helping people, or businesses that you're forming in order to help, build franchises and build, your product. All of you are capable of being leaders, and you've more than proved that. And we are so happy to have you guys here, and we can't wait to continue to watch you guys go through this program and see where you guys go, As we all found out this year, no one really knows the future, and you are entirely both in control and things are out of your control. So anything that you are in control of, you know, take that opportunity to go forward and make change.
Yes, and I just want to add to this. I do a lot of training. You know, one of the greatest thing about the Greater Riverside Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the amount of support that they offer you as a business. So I know they had a lot of people sign up, but just let businesses know that businesses need information, valuable information, very concrete, solid information that the Greater Riverside Hispanic Chamber has been putting out for years. But in a time like this, they need to know that there's people supporting them, people that believe that they can still be successful in spite of the challenges. We get a lot of negative on the news, and sometimes you do the trainings and you're constantly finding us to negativity. But you have a great support system with the Greater Riverside Hispanic Chamber, people who have invested in this company and this organization for years. And even though that some of the leadership may have changed, most of them have been members for years. They have their heart and soul. I can't tell you how many hours that they've put in planning this and how many practice runs and, hey, you got to fix this. You know, they care about the quality of not only your business, but the quality of their programming. And so I just encourage you, if you know people that maybe should have been on that weren't, they need a support team. This is the time to collaborate. We've been talking about teaming for years and, you know, doing our business network. And this is the true point. And Greater Riverside Hispanic Chamber is one of the top-notch organizations. And I can say that because I work with a lot of organizations, and you're not going to find this type of support with every organization. People who will walk with you through this process, walk you through the challenges, bring support. So again, I have a lot of respect for them. Even prior to me doing these trainings in the evenings, it gets a little daunting, but really people need to be encouraged, and this is the right team to do it. So thank you guys again so much for having me. Thank you guys again for all of your patience and for just sticking it out. So God bless all of you. Have a great week. And I expect next year to hear your millionaire story, that you left the training, you left the 10-week program, you reinvented your business yourself, and now you're meeting needs for the customers and clients and for the world. And now you're the innovators, and they're looking to you for answers and solutions, because that's what GRHCC does. That's what they stand for. And they're going to take the next generation forward, which is why we have so many of our college students participating when they could be doing so many other things tonight. So thank you again for your time.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have an amazing night. Thank you to our sponsors, Southern California Edison, JP Morgan, the EDGE program, for bringing us people like Catherine to our board. And also thank you to the Unico team, to Memo, for coming through with us and making sure that our platform worked. And we were great. We will see you next week at the same time, at the same day. And we hope to build your business, like Catherine said, and next year, hopefully see how you blossomed into this beautiful business. And if you're already a business, it just help you blossom even more. Have a great night. We really care about you guys. God bless.
Thank you.